I am very happy to introduce Gianni Gambini as our next speaker. He is executive member of the board of directors at Gambini. He'll tell us about what lays beyond tissue, empowered customers, unique products, our well-being, and a planet in need of help. He will be interviewed by Nicola Romagnani. Giovanni Gambini, president at Gambini, will come up on stage to say a few words before the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Giovanni and Gianni Gambini and Nicola Romagnani in a conversation titled, "The First Rule of Tissue is, you do not talk about tissue."
Buonasera a tutti.
Good evening to everyone.
La prima cosa, io volevo ringraziare tutti voi per la partecipazione a questo evento. Un evento, secondo me, molto importante per tutto il comparto del tissue, ma anche per la città di Lucca.
At first, I want to thank you for this event, an event very important for our industry, but also for the Lucca itself.
Allora, io ritengo che sia importante che eventi di questo genere continuino per tutta la città di Lucca e anche per il tissue.
So I think that this needs to be the first one of a series of events for very important for our future, the tissue industry, and also for Lucca.
Veniamo al tema dell'evento. Come voi tutti ben sapete, il tema dell'evento è il futuro. Quindi, visto che parliamo di futuro, io ritengo corretto che questo tema venga trattato da mio figlio Gianni Gambini. Vi ringrazio tutti.
Let's go to the main focus, the payoff of the event, its future insights. Just because we're talking about future, I want to leave the stage to my son, me, Gianni Gambini.
A lui la parola. Grazie a tutti. Grazie.
We can all agree that in these last 2 days, the words that we have heard the most are disruption and innovation. But there's more than that in the future industry. Gianni, you gave us the first rule of tissue. You do not talk about tissue. And now
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you, why is that? Moving on. But let me challenge you with the second and the third rules.
Okay?
Do not make us hear again the words disruption and
Okay.
innovation. So, you are a tissue guy, and the audience is full of tissue people. So why do you decide not to talk about tissue? What does that mean? It's quite strange, no?
Have you ever wondered what the well-being is made of? Nicola, this seems to be a question not linked to what we are doing, right? But today, it's almost 7 years of investments and over 200 trials at the Tissue Hub, the only place in which you can have available a standard full-width pilot line to create the products of the future. That's the starting point. How will the product of the future be? It will have to be better than the product of the past,
Correct.
right?
Right?
But what does better mean? This question have obsessed us in the last years, has completely changed our way of thinking, our way of doing what we are doing, has completely changed our way to interact with the tissue industry and our value deployment strategy. Everything has come out from one single question. Have you ever wondered what the well-being is made of? Today, we witness a very important moment in what has happened in the last years and what we think that our industry needs to achieve from here on. The tissue industry needs to create well-being for the individual, for the community, and for the planet.
Okay, so now we know that you're going to talk about well-being, not about tissue. Just to let you know that in November, in Italy, the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is going to organize the 7th meeting on well-being, because its definition is so important that experts from all over the world will come to Rome and decide and talk about what well-being is. So it looks like that's the right moment to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very central topic worldwide. The previous sentence is apparently simple, but to be understood needs an in-depth analysis. At first, we realized that the heart of our industry is the well-being and how it depends on the use of a specific product and what it produces on the individual.
Okay, so you mentioned the individual, the community, and the planet. You say individual is at the core. Is well-being selfish? What does count more? The effect on the individual? Tell us more.
That's an interesting point, Nicola. I've recently rewatched a movie titled Into the Wild. It's an adventure of a person who decides to get rid of everything and live in contact with nature, searching for happiness. The movie hides a very important message. The only moments in which the protagonist is really happy are the ones in which he's spending time with other people. Happiness is real only when it's shared, and so is well-being. I'm not feeling well-being just because I can use that specific product, but because I know that all the other people around me can use the exact same product and have access to the exact same level of well-being. And then the last point. Of course, a product needs to create well-being for me and for all of you, but needs to have also a right environmental impact. We cannot stay well in a place that doesn't feel well. A product needs to give its contribution to create well-being for our planet too.
You know, I have to be practical. These are industry guys. So a new product, if I'm correct, must create a greater well-being. How do you achieve that mission?
I think, Nicola, that the most important element in your sentence is the definition of new. There are few moments in history in which something brings the definition of new one generation forward. Let's think of basketball. I've been part of this fantastic sport for many years, and one of the most important icons is Michael Jordan. So I'm asking myself, why MJ made so important a moment that has defined a before and after in basketball? I think it's a combination of two main aspects. At first, MJ, thanks to his extraordinary new technical skills, changed what was considered possible on the field at that time. This, with his unique mindset, was helping him to change the perception of the sport, diffusing a different vision of basketball worldwide, through a product, the famous Air Jordans, inspiring millions of people in creating intrinsic well-being. The synthesis of this example is that a new or a better product at the end needs to have a unique set of new, better specs, helping to improve the end user perception, helping to diffuse a higher level of well-being. So let's come now to our industry.
So I feel that you're coming close to talk about tissue.
Yeah.
Correct. So before letting you going on, let me point out some figures about the tissue industry. So it's a market that is worth $20 billion worldwide, and in 5 years is projected to grow 5%. In the last days, I was preparing myself for this conversation with Gianni, and I was wondering, why doesn't Gianni want to talk about tissue? What is he going to talk about? And then I thought, almost 1 billion people in the world do not have access to toilets. They mostly live in rural areas. They do not even know what a toilet is. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has calculated that for each dollar that you spend on sanitation, you have a return of $5 in reduced healthcare costs and gains from more productive days. So I thought, that's why Gianni doesn't want to talk about tissue. He wants to go beyond tissue, because tissue is an instrument for freedom. If you think about more productive days, you reduce the problems of people, and you can free energies. That's why, now I get it. That's why you want to talk about well-being, right?
Exactly. So now let's make an example. Imagine to have in your hands 2 products. How you can say that this product is better than the product of the past? For us, the answer is crystal clear. The best product, it's the one that generates more well-being for me, for all of us, and for the planet. That's why, becoming aware of this fact, we completely changed our way of thinking, passing to focusing our attention just on machine performances, to supplying technological platforms useful to empower you in creating new, unique products. At the end, we passed from being perceived as a simple OEM to be recognized as a well-being consultant.
Well-being consultants. I get where you are going. So is this just a catchy phrase that is right for newspaper headlines? Or is there a concept behind it? How do you turn it into practice?
So I think that the main objective of any company producing a specific products can be synthesized in this sentence. If I am the leader, I want to continue to be the leader. If I'm not, I want to become the leader. So think about that, how you can do that. The only way is to invest in creating new products or improving existing ones. And that's the most important point. The only way to do that, of course, is to be able to understand that the main thing is the objective of increasing the well-being of what you are doing.
Stay there, stay on this concept. So you're saying that you're not a passive, regular supplier, but you're more like an active consultant. Is that what you mean?
Exactly, exactly. That's the important thing. So, when you think about people describing in a negative way an OEM, they say that we're selling just iron. In fact, an OEM, the main objective of an OEM is just to supply machines to be able to produce more or in a much more efficient way, right?
Right.
We realized that the main objective, that our main objective must be to supply technological platforms useful to create unique products. And this is the difference in between giving a passive support and an active one, a synonym of empowerment.
Okay. Now I am playing the wild card, so I can say the worst issue as much as I want. So you were talking about a technological platform, right? And at the beginning of your speech, you were saying that it's been years that you are investing in Tissue Hub.
Exactly.
I'm sure a lot of people here know what Tissue Hub is, but maybe if you give us some more details on that.
Yeah, what I've just said, the demonstration of what I've just said, it's coming from you. And from all the super positive feedbacks coming from all the experiences shared at the Tissue Hub, and from those who decided to adopt our technology. So, talking about the Tissue Hub, it comes to my mind, last time I was at the Tissue Hub, a customer taking a product coming out from the Luxo came to me saying, "See this? I'm not sure I would have been able to realize it at home, but certainly I would never ever imagine being capable of realizing it in only 1 week." Tissue Hub is a very unique place. It's here in Lucca. It's close to our production facility, but far away enough to assure confidentiality. At Tissue Hub, customers can have access to a full-width, complete converting line, to an internal lab, to an embossing pattern development department, and to the latest technology in place to help you to create the products of the future. But I think, Nicola, that the most important value of the Tissue Hub is the internal dedicated team. A team made of a mix of converting experts and product development experts at your service. At Tissue Hub, we don't want to be you, but we want to help you, we want to support you in your product development journey to make it quicker and much more efficient.
I get the point. We all get the point, but we are missing one character, the planet.
Yes.
Talk about
True.
the well-being for the planet.
True. So mostly the product of the future, of course, needs to be better for the end user, but needs also to have a lower impact on the environment. Of course, maintaining a price accessible to the majority of us. Our technological platform as a piece of the puzzle inside a much more larger production process needs to give its contribution to achieve this goal. This is happening now.
It sounds like a big change.
Yes, and your customer supplying a better product with a lower environmental impact, finding a way to combine two elements not easy to combine. This is a big change, and this is happening. It's not easy to perceive it because as all the big changes, we're living it. But I'm sure that we'll see the effects in the real next future. So yesterday, on the lab stage, Mr. Carlo Berti was showing you the technical part of who we are. Today, I'm showing you the vision that stays behind that. future means better well-being. I strongly invite you to schedule a visit, to book a visit at the Tissue Hub to see with your own eyes how we can help you building our future. And please stay always in touch with us.
Wow, Gianni, I think you nailed it. I gave you a challenge and you maintain the promise. But he gave also a challenge to us. He asked to the industry, tissue or well-being? Will you accept the challenge? Thanks, Gianni.
Thank you, Nicola.